Welcome back. We've talked before on this program about the National Beef Quality Audit and its value to the industry. And joining me now with the latest is Josh White. He's the Executive Director of Producer Education for NCBA. Josh, remind our viewers what the National Beef Quality Audit is and why it's important to the industry.
Well, really the history on the beef quality audit is about finding defects and finding outliers, and what percentage of these carcasses are ideal, so to speak, or within a range of what we really want to produce for consumers and for our big customers of beef. It started way back in '91, where we realized we had some issues with producing the carcass and the meat that consumers and big buyers of beef wanted. So we started that, and about every 5 years we've done the steer and heifer quality audit. And we also do a market cow and bull audit, and the first one was done in '94, and we've done one a little more sporadically, but this year was unique in that we did both through this one research project.
Well, I wanted to follow up on that. There were some really key findings relative to market cows and bulls. Tell us more about that.
That's right. Well, I would guess on the positive side, since the last audit was conducted in 2007, we've seen a lot better results for mobility, so less lameness in cattle entering harvest plants and slaughter plants, especially on the dairy side. They've seen tremendous improvement, which they had the most room to improve from the last audit numbers. Another area we saw tremendous improvement is on injection site lesions. Another facet that we spent a little extra research dollars on this year was actually doing a slice audit of rounds from cows and bulls to see, are there injection site lesions in those rounds, in those muscles. What we found was tremendous improvement from the dairy side. Now, this research hadn't been done since 2000, so we've had a long time to improve. Sure. But back in 2000, we were finding injection site lesions in 35% of dairy rounds. Wow. We're down to 15% today, so tremendous improvement. On the beef side, we were finding lesions in 20% of rounds back in 2000. Today, we're down to 7%. Good. So again, tremendous improvement, but still some room to work. Yeah. As far as on the negative side of things, I would say, we still have some cows that are a bit thin on the muscularity score. We're losing some value there. Okay. So marketing cattle in a little better condition and with a little more muscularity would capture more value. And then, there's still some issues with condemnations on livers and a little bruising. We saw quite a bit of bruising, but most of the bruising was minimal. So that indicates, possibly facilities, transport, look at your operation and make sure the cows aren't banging around where they don't need to be. For sure, because that does reflect in that carcass value.
Well, I want to take that to the practical level. You've just given a couple of insights, but why is this data so valuable to producers from a practical standpoint?
Well, it does represent real lost value, for one thing. On the cow and bull side, we estimate we're losing over $120 per head on some of these issues. Now, some of the issues are more of a packer issue, but like I mentioned, bruising, injection site lesions, condemnations. So if you're keeping a cow around too long, you end up with some issues there. And another management issue we saw was a lot of cattle that were pregnant. Now, we don't want folks keeping cows too long just because they are pregnant if there's a good reason to market them, but we do want to reemphasize producers should be preg checking those cows, and if she is pregnant and in good shape, let's get that calf on the ground and then color the next year. Sure.
You mentioned the improvement the dairy industry has made. Do you have any explanation for this?
Oh yes. We worked for a long time between the BQA program and dairy and tried to formulate programs that dairy producers would engage on. Really didn't have that much success over the years, but the dairy industry really took the bull by the horn, so to speak, about 8 or 10 years ago and created the Farmers Assuring Responsible Management Program. Sure. That's a dairy-owned welfare and management program called FARM, that's the acronym. And then in the last 5 years or so, we've collaborated with them tremendously, getting the key BQA concepts, making sure that those are all held within that FARM program. So it's not really BQA, a beef-initiated program trying to reach to dairy so much as let's get our key concepts incorporated into the dairy-owned program.
Yeah. So, it's hard to get over all the information in a short interview. If people want to learn more, what are the opportunities for them to learn more, both about BQA and the National Beef Quality Audit itself?
Yeah, well, we've been really fortunate to have tremendous coverage of the quality audit in trade media, so definitely take a second look at your favorite publication, or even online. You'll find some videos if you just do a Google search around the beef quality audit. I know we shot a full segment on the steer and heifer rollout here. There's also a lot of opportunity to hear live from one of the investigators that did the research, as well as someone from our team. We're going to be doing presentations all across the country, south, north, east and west. I think we've got over 20 presentations booked over the next few months. So look into your Cattlemen's Conference or your local event and see if you can hear it live. And of course, there's always the online options.
Absolutely. Well, we've certainly made some progress, but still have more room to improve and learn. And so appreciate all your efforts in helping us do just that.
Yeah, it's our pleasure.
Remember, if you want to check out all the resources produced on the NBQA, you can find those online at bqa.org.